So it seems that we may get an absolutely epic showdown. It could be the Silent King taking on Guilliman. Yes, a Primarch versus the Silent King. Could this actually be like Guilliman's first defeat? Can the Silent King easily mop up Guilliman? All this is due to the Pariah Nexus, which we're going to jump into in a second, because the story is coming to a conclusion with the new White Dwarf articles, all the lore that is inside these magazines. Now, the lore for the Pariah Nexus, for those of you who don't know, is basically this. There's kind of a blank space in the galaxy, and this has been listed as the Pariah Nexus. The reason why it's a blank space is because the Necrons, with their pylon technology, have kind of been like putting the warp on like a null setting, but when the Imperial forces go into there, it basically mushes your brain up. It turns you into like a zombie type of thing. Not like you're zombie, like you want to eat brains and stuff, but it more or less just kills you as a human, just leaves you as an empty husk. But what has been happening with the power of faith, because faith is a brand new mechanic now in the Imperium. I say brand new, but you know, it's been brought to the forefront as the big weapon that the Imperium is using, not only to fight chaos, but forces like the Xenos Force. The power of faith is combating the nullness of the Necron stuff. So the Necrons have been having a very, very hard time fighting the Imperium in the Pariah Nexus. That is until the Silent King has now shown up. He has shown up and he has united all the dynasties that were fighting there. There's some dynasties that are out there to make their own way still, you know, backstabbing, greed and stuff like that. But the Silent King is now leading the forces of the Necron to fight against the Imperium. And of course, since the Silent King has arrived, the Imperial forces are slowly being pushed back. There was this epic scene like where the Silent King arrived on his like battle barge, and all the Necron lords in the sector were just like on a moon, and the battle barge itself just literally overshadowed the moon. Like, the Silent King has arrived in all his awesomeness. It was just absolutely epic. Now, the Imperial forces are being pushed back, but fear not, because we have some of the greatest Space Marine chapters aiding the Imperial forces, none other than the Imperial Fist and the Black Templars. And what has happened is, basically, since they're in this null zone and they can't really, you know, navigate that well, they can't really send like psychic messages out or anything like that because of the nullness that's going on, the Imperial Fist commander basically said, let's gather all the psychers in like the fleet, like the high echelon psychers, even Imperial Fist psychers. We'll put them on this planet and we'll make them work together to send out a psychic message for more aid to arrive in the sector, to help us out, to aid us out. So the Imperial Fist and the Black Templars work out a plan where they basically go on a full frontal assault against the Necrons to try and draw them away from this planet where all the psychers are located. The planet itself is actually was taken over by the Sisters of Battle. It was one of the first victories that they actually had against the Necrons, and basically because of all the faith that's involved, it's basically the best place for them to get the message out. But they can't let the Necrons interrupt like the psychic prayer message to be sent out. So the Imperial Fist and the Black Templars basically go out, brothers in arms, you know, bro fisting, absolute start smashing all the Necrons and everything like that. It's really, really cool. But of course, the countless upon countless robots that all the Necrons have keep pushing them back. It's like an organized retreat, let's say, but you know, in the full awesomeness of Rogul Dawn. Anyway, what did happen is that the psychic message actually got sent out, and none other than Guilliman received the message, and Guilliman started to piece all this together. Basically, the Pariah Nexus is just one of many known areas that have been reported that he's been seen across the galaxy, and they're all trying to basically link up with each other to create like a vast galaxy-wide nullness, which would, you know, be terrible for the Imperium. So Guilliman has now decided to head towards the Pariah Nexus himself, take command, bring reinforcements, and see what the hell is about to go down. Showdown. Now, as someone who is a fanboy like me of Space Marines, this potentially could be one of the coolest things we've seen in the entirety of the lore of 9th edition. The lore itself in 9th edition probably hasn't been the most exciting. I think 8th edition was way more cool with the Great Rift happening and Chaos and, Nurgle. We had all the Primarchs coming back. That was a really, really cool stuff. But now, potentially having the Silent King versus Guilliman, I think this could be epic. If they write this perfectly, they have to have a clash, right? They have to fight each other. I was going to say Sigismund, Guilliman with the Emperor's sword, the flaming sword fighting the Silent King. How cool, how epic would that be? Of course, I'm sure a lot of people in the comment section are going to say, well, this is the Silent King. The Silent King would literally bitch slap Guilliman across his face and just leave him on the battlefield. And you know what? You actually may not be wrong, because I've always seen the Silent King as like an emperor type character, but at the end of the day, Guilliman has one of the most powerful weapons in all existence. He has that Ultramarine plot armor, so I'm sure something's going to happen where the Ultramarines do come out victorious, or something happens to the Silent King, or maybe it's just going to be like, what the 40k writers love, a good old-fashioned draw between two factions. But for me personally, I would like to see a faction win. If it is the Necrons, then good for the Necrons. If it is the Space Marines, then that means more more laughing at the Silent King, because he's barely been involved, or when he has been involved, he's got to lose. So yeah, we'll see hopefully within next month's White Dwarf, or within the months of White Dwarf, because the brand new war zone, because this is a war zone, by the way, because the brand new war zone is potentially launching at Christmas. It is the one with Abaddon and all his space hulks and stuff. So hopefully this is all resolved by then, and we can have like an epic conclusion to see what the hell's going on. Anyway, that's enough waffling for me. I just thought I'd bring this bit of lore to your attention. I would like to get your thoughts and feedback on this. What do you think that's going to happen? Do you think Guilliman could take on the Silent King? Do you think the Silent King would easily just KO Guilliman, kill him, get rid of him? Post it all down below, and we can have a nice little talk down there, as we always do. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.